Hey friends, welcome to the Taste Toast Travel Podcast. We're your hosts and resident foodies, Epicureans, and lovers of all things travel and exploration.
I'm John, and I'm a certified somm and a certified specialist of wine, and I've worked in the wine and hospitality industry for over 10 years.
I'm Tara, and I've worked in the wine industry for over 7 years, both in hospitality and digital marketing.
When my wife and I first met, we bonded over our love of eating, drinking, and traveling the world. That passion has only grown over time. Now we want to share this passion with you from an insider perspective. We're only scratching the surface here, and we have a lot more in store that we can't wait to share with you all. Grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and enjoy the journey with us. Cheers.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Taste Toast Travel. I'm Tara.
And I'm John.
And we have several hot gas topics here for you guys today. This is going to be kind of fun, though, because I feel like we haven't really done an episode like this where we haven't run some of these topics that we're going to talk about past each other yet.
Oh, okay.
I feel like sometimes we're like, oh, this is kind of what I want to talk about or whatever, but I don't think you know any of the ones I'm going to bring up today.
I have no clue.
And there's one of yours that I don't know either, so this is going to be interesting.
Yeah?
It'll be fun. So let's just get straight into it. I'm going to kick it off to you to start us off.
Okay. I forgot my first topic.
Oh my god. Well, the one I know has. Do you need a hint?
Yeah, which one was it?
France.
Nope. My other one's about France too.
So that doesn't help you at all because
No.
I'll just start with one of the two. Do you not remember?
Oh, I remember it. Roll tape. So my first topic
Okay, let's hear it.
is one that I've always wondered about, but never heard anything about.
Okay.
So most people don't know what wine is supposed to taste like specific wines.
Sure.
Most people couldn't differentiate between like this famous wine and like this not so famous wine, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We've kind of talked about that on the podcast before in terms of like price. Like, can you really taste a difference between like that kind of a thing?
So what's happening right now, and what some places got in trouble for doing this, is in some cafes in Paris, cafes / bars, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
People would order a glass of wine, and let's say it was like an expensive, nice glass of wine. Say it was like a 20 euro glass of wine. They would, instead of pouring them that wine, they would just pour them a super cheap glass of red wine and call it that special wine.
That's so
And,
messed up.
I'm sure that they've done this so many, like countless times, and nobody ever like bats an eye at it.
Yeah.
And then I guess like some people were catching on to it and they got in trouble for doing it, I guess. So yeah. And it's in like very touristy areas, of course, because I read some interviews and stuff, and it was like, the bartenders or the waiters and waitresses were like, yeah, nobody even knows, because nobody knows what wine's supposed to taste like. So it's like they were instructed to, like, from like the manager of the place, they were instructed to like not open like a nice bottle of wine if they could help it, because they don't want it to oxidize and go bad if it doesn't get, drank.
Right.
So they would just like pull some random red wine off the shelf that was dirt cheap and then pour a glass of it and charge someone 20 euros
And
for
no one
it.
knows the difference.
And no one would know the difference,
so
because
messed up.
tourists have no clue about like, what wine's supposed to taste like or anything like that.
Right.
Even like, I mean, sommeliers, that they said that there were a couple people that sent the wine back saying this doesn't taste like it's supposed to taste like. And they were like sommeliers that are familiar with, the wine.
Yeah.
And so there was another interview with a bartender at a Parisian cafe bar, and they were saying that for happy hour, it's not uncommon, because happy hour, in Paris or whatever, super cheap,
That's
right?
the whole point. It's
super cheap.
I mean,
Said
America too.
it's not uncommon for the bar to just grab a bunch of half empty bottles and pour them all into one bottle and just pour that.
That's just gross.
Yeah.
Like gross ethically and like morally, but also just like that's just gross to the taste. Like what?
I know, but again, like
That's
American
so
tourists
bad.
most American tourists aren't drinking for taste.
No, I know.
They're just drinking because they're like, oh, I want to get drunk. I'm in Paris. Let's drink wine because that's
So
what.
I get like this is a rhetorical question, I guess, but like, do French people not go to happy hour? Like, you would think they could at least like.
Yeah,
kinda
French people
sniff
go to
it
happy
out.
hour, but they don't drink wine.
Oh, I guess that's probably
You don't
true.
in
Well,
Europe.
I mean, not that we're French. We
In
don't
Europe,
know,
you don't go to a bar and drink wine. You go to a bar and drink
probably
a
like beer and stuff.
or
Yeah,
a
or at least in Italy,
cocktail
that's
or
common.
like
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh my god.
So it's just, and again, it's in touristy places. So
yeah. So
Parisians aren't going to touristy places.
that's probably true.
Yeah.
These are just hot.
They're going to the
spots.
place around the corner from their home or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, there's like a huge crackdown, I guess, on Parisian cafes. So if you're going to Paris, be wary.
Yeah. So I
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, but
go ahead.
there was one person that was saying like they would even like someone would order like a glass of Chablis, which is Chardonnay.
Yes.
And they would pour them like a glass of Sauvignon Blanc instead, and like they would not even notice.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm reading this. So I don't know what your second topic was, but when you told me about this one, I was like, I have to read an article on this because it's crazy. So this is from the Times. So yeah, basically it's saying exactly what you're saying. There's this one piece that says few customers notice a difference when a premium Chablis ordered from the wine menu is selling at about €9 a glass is swapped for Sauvignon costing about €5. An investigation by Le Parisian newspaper has found.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what's funny though. This is what you were saying, but this is like factually what happened. Two sommeliers detected switched wines when they visited a series of bistros and brasseries.
Brasseries. Yeah.
Brasseries. Yeah, I mispronounced that. My French sucks. While posing as English-speaking tourists for the newspaper. That's
so good.
So funny. I didn't read that part yet. Waiters at restaurants and bars told the newspaper that the practice was widespread, especially that's French people, man. What is that? I mean, it's not,
I'm sure it's not just
all of them.
I'm sure it's
like,
not just French people. I'm
but
sure this
like,
happens
damn.
everywhere.
I know, but like
Tourists
they would.
are ridiculous.
I know. Listen, we know we're insufferable, but like you don't have to screw us over so badly. Yeah, it says you can serve the one you want. People don't have to say sense of taste to spot it. It can be Beaujolais, Coteron, how do you pronounce it? Bruy, or any other wine. A waitress called Sarah, I don't know, maybe that's not a real name, with 30 years of experience in restaurants said. A sommelier knows the difference, but the tourists have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I even sometimes empty leftover wine into one bottle for the happy hour.
Mm-hmm.
That's just nasty.
Yeah, that's
but it's so sad too because, and I think this article, I thought it like said that somewhere that it says it's a pity for the customer and for the image of the wine appellation, for the winemaker and for the restaurant owners who do a good job. We're in France, the home of wine. We have to give tips to the consumer.
But the other thing too
it's
is
so
I mean,
true that it really just it's
that's kind of where the whole back in the day, the whole like pretentious, you buy the bottle, they come up, they show it to you, they open it. So you know what you're getting.
There's something to that. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not just to be like
so you
bougie
know
and
like
obnoxious.
this is like the wine you
I'm
ordered.
not trying to
This is the wine I'm pouring for you in front of your face.
Exactly.
And so that's where it all came from.
Yeah.
In history, that's why they do that.
Like it seems super uppity, but it's so you don't get screwed over.
The just normal person be like, wow, that's so pretentious that like this whole ceremony is for your bottle of wine. But I mean, it's because shit like this.
But like, yeah, there's a reason for that. Oh my god.
And then, so I was talking to a chef from Italy, and he was saying that like it's very common, even like in other parts of
even in Italy and stuff too.
Yeah, it's common. Like, well, no, not this alcohol thing. It's a different thing. He's saying that it's common in Europe. He said he's seen it in Italy, in Milan or Rome, that like the restaurant will have two different menus.
Oh yes.
They'll have like a tourist menu and a local menu, and like the tourist menu is like twice the price of the local menu. So if you go somewhere, like and there's locals there, they're paying like half of what you're paying, probably if you're a tourist. Yeah.
You know what?
Which
as a tourist, that's infuriating. As a local, I love that.
Yeah. I wish we had that here.
I know, because we live in a very
I would love to
area.
like, oh, you're a local here, take 30% off. Like,
Yeah.
sweet.
We freaking deserve it, man. We have to deal with, don't even get me on my
Yeah.
soapbox. We were literally downtown of where we live this morning, and like, same thing. People just taking up the side. There's just like such a lack of awareness
Yeah.
in like travel and stuff sometimes. But even in Europe, when we were there last year, like, it just, there's, oh, God. People are just like very unaware of themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like maybe even too aware of like taking up space and not being in people's way, but like, God, they're just everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, where we live, especially in this particular part of the wine country, it's very,
and it's kind of tourist season getting there right now because it's warm now. Yeah. Summer's coming.
Bracing ourselves for that.
Do you want me to do my next one, or do you want to do one?
Is yours really related to your first topic, or is it kind of like okay, no, so let me go, and then so two of the topics I wanted to cover are, I'll go back to back because they're like kind of related. So this is total 180. We're going to a totally different industry right now, travel industry.
Cool.
So, but I saw this headline and I was like, I need to know more. And what's funny is I'm really not on Reddit. I think you're on Reddit.
I like Reddit
more than I am.
There's rabbit holes you can go down.
100% see why people go down rabbit holes. But this was so cute. So this headline was, "This fear of flying subreddit is the most heartwarming corner of the internet." So I was like, please tell me more. Also because there's just, we've talked about it here on the podcast recently, just like overarching fears of flying, whatever. And I've also, like, I'm really good on planes and traveling and stuff, but like takeoffs and mostly takeoffs, I've just gotten like, I don't know.
Really?
More nervous.
Takeoffs?
Yeah.
That's the best part.
It is. No, you know what? Okay, this is actually kind of related to my topic. First of all, what I don't love is like, I think it was, we were going, I think probably to Italy. We were going somewhere. We were on a huge plane. Lots of power to this plane, right? It was bigger than the 737. It was whatever it was. Airbus. I don't know. And yeah, this was maybe for like our wedding honeymoon trip. And I remember like we were on the runway and the plane felt so heavy. I was like, I think I even said to you, I was like, there's no way this thing is going to get off the ground.
It's crazy. The planes,
felt so,
they're like not meant to fly. But
no, it literally was like defying all, I don't know, gravity and sense of space. So of course, spoiler alert, it did get off the ground, but it felt like we were going way too slow. And I know this because I'm a pilot.
Yeah, you're an expert.
So I know exactly what I'm talking about. So we were going, I'm going to say this factually. We were going way too slow. They were taking way too long to get off the ground. We were running out of runway.
Totally.
Yeah. And
the 3-mile runway, it wasn't enough.
I could just feel, and the ascent was like, it was like we were climbing at a snail's pace. I was like, we're going into the bay. We're for sure going into the bay. I was like, this is a disaster.
It was like an Airbus.
It was big.
Airbus 380, which was like one of the biggest planes.
It was anyway. It was a typical one you'd take to Europe, but it like felt bigger than usual.
It was an A380. It's one of the biggest planes.
Yeah. So anyway, that wasn't the moment that did it for me. I've had a lot of freaky moments in the air throughout my life that I think caused that. That was kind of unsettling, but I think it's like that. There's also when there's an ascent happening and then it's like, I think they get to a certain altitude and the plane literally sounds like it shuts off or something. Do you know what I'm talking about? So it goes from like being like really kind of like loud and then like something kind of goes quiet and it literally sounds like the plane is, it just feels like it's suspending.
They kick the engines back.
Okay, yes. So I'll get more into this like perfect segue. I'll get more into the subreddit. So basically there's this fear of flying subreddit where nervous flyers, it's so cute. They trade like advice. There's pilots on there answering like safety questions and questions about stuff like this. People even track each other through turbulence. So literally people will go on there like, oh, I'm on flight, blah, blah, blah. Like someone track me or like, you know, like make sure things are okay, whatever. And people are like literally tracking each other. Like, I just saw that, you know, you took off, you're doing great, you're over Kansas or something now. Like literally people are so, it's so a little bit creepy, but so cute and supportive. And it's also really cute because a lot of the whole point too is like, man, if I hadn't done this or like if I hadn't gotten on the flight, I would have missed this or I I wouldn't have had this life experience or whatever. So it's really like it really is like so heartwarming at the end of the day. But there's this one pilot that was chiming in, and it was just like, I'm, here to answer whatever questions you guys have. It's a 737 standards pilot. And someone asked, or they said, like, I hate when noises change during the flight, like loud engine sounding noises suddenly going quiet. What makes this happen? It makes me think the whole plane's engine just died or whatever. I was like, oh my God, you are me. And literally all he said was, think of it like a car engine. When you slow down, the tone of the engine changes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, well, you've been to like flight school and stuff like that, so you would know more of that. I understand planes are incredible.
I've never really understood the fear of flying situation. It's never been,
I don't know, free falling?
No, so, okay. Let's say you're flying in the plane.
Yeah.
And both the engines fall off.
God, we're going to Hawaii.
For a lot of people, this is worst case scenario, apparently. Let's just say you're
what?
flying and the engines...
Okay, yes, they both cut out, something happens, whatever.
The engines are gone.
Well, that's the whole point of the plane. It's got wings. You can cruise it down and figure it out.
It's not going to just fall.
I know.
I mean, it's going to fall, but like... You're not gonna go straight down, right? You can glide and you'll be able to go down, but like you're not just gonna immediately go straight down and crash.
I know. I think a lot of people think that.
Yeah. People forget that it's flying and
it is literally designed like a bird.
Aerodynamic and
I know.
You'll have to point the nose down a bit, so you will be going down faster.
Yeah.
But you'll still technically be flying.
I know. Yeah.
And so I think people forget about that.
Mm-hmm. People 100% either don't know or forget how incredible of engineering planes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the safest way of travel.
Yeah, more safer than cars. Yeah, I don't know the statistic on that, but I have heard that.
I can't remember the exact, like, how many times safer than cars it is, but, like, it is way safer than cars.
I know.
To be fair, though, you drive in your car a lot more, so there's more chances. I don't know the
probability there. Yeah,
but
that's true. You're also like competing with other people on the road.
You're competing with people in the air. What do you mean?
Well, okay, sure.
5,000 planes around you in the air.
There's a lot more airspace than.
It's true, but there's a lot of planes up there.
I guess. Yeah. No, that's accurate. That's true. I don't know. But there's like so much room to go up
and think about this.
I don't know.
There's so many planes in the sky and there's not too many people directing them. There's like a few people directing them.
You could freak me out more now.
Yeah, like the air traffic controllers. Like,
I know. Yeah, that's also been kind of a crazy.
So it's like there's only so many air traffic controllers.
I know. That's true. Well, anyway,
moral of the story is you're not going to crash.
I know. Which, again, knocking on wood here. Sidebar, have you ever hit an air pocket when you were flying?
Yeah.
Have you?
Sure. And you just like kind of feel like the plane falls?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my mom was a flight attendant for many years before I was even born. And so she just also naturally just did not have a fear of flying. She knew what sounds to listen for. She just knew how planes worked, So like anytime I flew with her, I always felt like a lot better. But we did hit an air pocket once when me, my mom, and my dad were all on a trip, and I didn't know like what it was, and so she was like, "Oh yeah, that was probably." But people were like screaming, like it's very scary. I don't know how many feet we dropped, but it was like
probably at least a few hundred.
Yeah. We were like,
yeah, I mean,
it's horrible.
There's like
and
sounds,
just turbulence.
There's sounds that are very normal sounds.
I know.
Like the flaps going up and down make noise.
Yeah. Literally everything makes noise.
The engine, when you get at cruising altitude, you hit the engine back to cruising speed. Right. That makes the engine
sounds
quiet.
Way quieter. It sounds like it's
as soon as you take off, like within seconds of taking off, you start to hear these really loud, like ka-clunk, ka-clunk.
Yes.
Like, that's the landing gear going back up in the airplane.
Okay. Oh, that doesn't freak me out.
Shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway. So it's really cute, this little subreddit thing. There's one other person I was going to bring up, but this was interesting though. This was within, so there's like, this is like a Condé Nast article, I think, Condé Nast Traveler. So this was like an article, and then I went to the subreddit and like actually looked for it myself, and it really is like so cute. everyone please. If you have like a fear of flying or whatever, like definitely check it out. However, this was interesting. So in this article, they interviewed Suzanne Feinstein, who is a clinical psychologist. So she says that relaxation techniques like progressive muscle relaxation and reframing your thought patterns through like mantras or exposure therapy can be more effective long term. These methods are referenced throughout the subreddit, but she cautioned people that, you know, a lot of users on there are not mental health professionals, right? And even well-meaning advice can backfire, obviously. So she was saying, this is kind of sciencey for a second, but it's interesting. She said, mirror neurons in our brain mimic the emotions and energies around us, the same way that people look towards others for calm reassurance. So like looking to the flight attendants, whatever. People can absorb others' fears and worries too. So yeah, she basically, you know, if you really need help, like work with a therapist, like, you know, get mental health. But that's a really, I feel like that's important to call out. That is a really good point.
What?
Just that anyone, so for example, if you're going through the subreddit and you're like seeing all these people's fears and stuff like that, like it can plant seeds.
Oh,
you know
totally.
what I mean? So it's like, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
But then conversely, it's, you know, there could also be a lot of wisdom in like hearing advice from pilots and getting those facts of like, okay, what's actually going on. And so it's, you know, it's a double-edged sword. But I thought that was cute. The one last thing I was going to bring up, I've shown you this guy's account before. So his handle is, at least on Instagram, is Airplane Facts with Max.
Oh, that guy.
And I'm obsessed with this guy. So he's an airplane mechanic. It's like he's like 1.3 million followers. So he does a lot of like stitches and stuff. So like if people are like on a plane, or they'll, you know, do like a TikTok or
stitches.
Stitch. You're not on social media. I wouldn't expect you to know what that is.
That's a thing? A stitch?
Yeah. Or it's like, yeah, it's a thing where like.
Talking about like a sketch.
No. Huh. Oh, Lord almighty. I think I'd have to go into detail on this. It's basically like somebody like posts something and then the creator like takes a part of it and then puts their own thing on. Like,
I didn't know that had a name. Right on.
It's, yeah.
Cool.
Lord almighty. Anyway.
Stitch.
So, well, now you have me questioning that. That's what it is.
Sounds
regardless, basically his video, for example, someone posts something where they're like on a plane, and it's funny because here's one example I've seen a lot. There's like what looks like masking tape, or not masking tape, duct tape on a plane, right? And it's either like the tape is there or it's like starting to come off or something like that, and it quite literally looks like the plane is taped together.
Yeah.
And so his video will like show a little clip of that, and he'll be like, hey, this is Airplane Facts with Max or whatever. I'm an airplane mechanic. Like, so that's actually airplane tape. It's like made from XYZ. Like, and he explains it all, but then takes it a step further and what does he say? He's just like, he always brings up a Lord of the Rings reference. So he's just like, it's like da-da-da, just like XYZ. Just like
when Frodo and
he goes off on this tangent.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I have no idea what he's talking about because
I followed him.
So here's what's that.
I got what he's saying.
So this is what's so funny, you guys. So yes, I showed John these videos and I was like, how funny is this? And literally I remember you saying like, what did you say? It was like, is it sad that I know exactly what he's talking about?
I know what he's talking about.
And literally he was so in the weeds with this Lord of the Rings reference and story or whatever, but oh my God, he's gold. So anyone,
that's pretty funny.
Also, again, for someone looking for, I don't know, just a relatable way to understand like what's going on with a plane. And he's like legitimately on these planes. Like he is showing you exactly what's going on. Like it's, it makes it comforting. There's another one I saw where like the wings were going up and down and stuff like that. And that is freaky. It literally looks like they're going to snap off. But they're meant to do that.
They're meant to do that.
I've learned a lot.
Way more. The planes are made to withstand way more than the forces can exert.
They could get hit by lightning too, could they not?
They have been hit by lightning.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
Well, no.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, short of flying through a hurricane with like, 200-mile-an-hour winds, obviously, like, better not. But like, yeah, planes are made to withstand forces exerted upon them. Yeah. Way more than will ever like be exerted on them. Yeah. Unless you're going through a hurricane or something like that.
Or something
tornado
crazy.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
but normal conditions, like the plane can withstand way more than anything is going to be thrown at it.
Yeah.
So if you're afraid of flying,
Okay, I'm comforted now.
just
Thank
stop being afraid.
you. Because that's just so easy.
You're not going to crash.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mindset
You won't.
really is so much into
If
it.
you do
Again,
crash and you live, go play the lottery because you might win.
Yeah, well, I totally lost my train of thought. Yeah, anyway. Oh, that's what I was going to mention. We literally do have a whole episode on this. I cannot remember the name. I will link it in the show notes, but I talked about this because I mentioned this on the podcast. I also do like grief coaching and stuff, and so it's obviously very different, but I coach people through anxieties, not necessarily through flight, but just in anxiety in general. But there's a lot of anxiety techniques, mindset shifts, things that can help you get in a really good headspace before you even go to the airport, and then during.
It's called Xanax
as well. Or just pop a Xanax and
then
Lil Xanny.
Little Xanax,
And,
have a nice little vodka shooter, and say night night
until you wake up in Munich or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. All right, moving right along. So this one, I won't go into too much detail on this, but I also saw related to flying 12 frequent flyer approved tips for surviving the middle seat. This one I was curious about because I was like, we all need to know a little more how
like
to
you're
survive.
flying by yourself and you're in the middle seat.
Yeah, well, I guess not if you're not even necessarily by yourself.
Oh yeah, okay. So if it's like a 3 and you're like
in general,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been stuck in the middle seat with you and someone else before. So within this article, there was a TikTok or a reel or something, and this is from Travel and Leisure, I believe. That someone had posted, and it's so funny. I was like looking at some of the comments, and a lot of them were like, "Oh, this is great. Where'd you get this? Where'd you get that?" And then like I saw this one comment that was like, "High maintenance." I'm like, "You're just like go away." Like,
yeah, they're just mad.
Trolls are the worst. Anyway,
mad at the
and
world.
none of these were even like that high maintenance. They were just like they're actually good ideas. So here are the 4 that this video recommended, and then there's like a few others. So one, this is kind of a funny one. I hadn't really thought about this. I guess this is a little more for if you're by yourself maybe, but a privacy screen. So I don't know if you've ever thought of that, but
like putting a screen up between you.
No, like on your screen on your phone.
Oh.
God, I wish there were.
I was like, yeah,
they're
like they're blinders you can put on the seats. That'd be
Jesus.
crazy.
Why
man.
has nobody invented that yet?
Oh, that'd
actually
be wild.
No. So it's more like, yeah, I don't know. People just like.
Yes, they don't see your shit.
And actually, wait, didn't you have somebody look like watching something with you or asking? What? Where were you? Were you going back down to Texas? This was before I knew you. I think.
I was coming. I can't remember if I was going or coming.
I feel like you were going
college
southwest somewhere. Yeah.
And
wasn't
I was like,
somebody like asked to watch what you were watching?
I was on my iPad watching, I don't know,
something,
some TV show or movie, and he was just like watching it. He's like,
ew, didn't he ask to share an earbud with you too?
Yeah, he's like, can I share an earbud? I was like, no.
Did you actually say no?
Yeah. It's like, no.
What did he say?
He's like, oh, okay.
So cringy. Oh my god.
No,
that's funny. So anyway, privacy screen.
It was weird.
But
yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. And also, this was not on the list, but we have found, maybe I can link them in the show notes if I remember to do that. But there's 2 really good, actually one is really superior over the other. A clip for your phone. It's actually more for like content creation, honestly, but it's perfect for clipping to the back of the airplane seat.
Yeah.
But I think you probably have to have like an iPhone or a mag strip or whatever, but it just like, you don't even have to like clip it in anymore. You literally just like put your phone on it, and it's phenomenal. We are taking that on the trip with us. Anyway, so there was that random. Then there's also this one that I loved out of all of these was this thing. It's literally called Stink Bomb. So the person was like, I've definitely dealt with some like questionable smells throughout like plane rides.
I had a lady one time open a Ziploc bag of hard-boiled eggs next to me.
That's asinine.
I was like, is this a joke? Am I on camera? Like, what is this?
Did she seem? How did she seem?
Like, I mean, weird.
That's what I was wondering. Because we've had some weird people on flights.
Normal people don't do that.
It's just so wrong.
She was just like, oh.
So that's so so gross. Oh my
weirdo.
God! Of all the things, tuna, eggs, just avoid smelly foods, man.
Or sometimes you can't help it, but like people that have like, bags of chips or something, and they're so fucking crinkly,
Oh,
and they're just like
yeah,
crinkling the
well,
bag around, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
yeah. The noises and stuff,
Or they're
I
like
would say
right
bother
next to
me.
you, and it's like quiet time, and like they put a fucking Cheeto in
It's
their
like like
crunch down on, it, and they're
well, that's especially bad for me because I have misophonia, and you know how I am with chewing and swallowing.
high maintenance.
It's that's fair in that comment. In that case, it's
Yeah,
let's not get
that
me.
bugs me.
Don't
But
get me going on
yeah,
that.
that whole hard boiled egg situation is like
That's repulsive. So anyway, coming back to stink
weirdo.
bomb, so this could have been perfect. So
Sure.
basically, it literally looks like a like chapstick
Yeah.
container, like just whatever.
Sure.
But you put it like under your nose, and it's
it smells
supposed to
good?
help. Yeah,
Oh.
and it's supposed to help. Like you kind of are supposed to like smell that
Oh.
instead of
That's kind of
maybe
cool.
like BO. I've definitely been stuck on people
Oh,
on flights with
God.
people with BO, or they,
That
flights can get
breath, like,
hot. I mean,
sweaty. Yeah, continue. This
or you
is
don't
great.
have to be in the middle seat to feel that. But
Mm-mm.
anyway, so that was fun. There's also this really cool neck pillow that I've never seen. So I think it's called the Caboo
I don't know.
neck pillow, Cabeau, I think. And what's cool about it is it's one of those ones that like fold up really well and stuff. But this one is kind of cool because even if it's not just the middle seat, it like connects to the headrest somehow. Like it connects to the thing, so you're not having to like lean on one side or the
Oh,
other
cool.
or whatever. So it like connects there, so it kind of stays in place, and then it like goes around, and then you can like you have your looks like your head's in a little bit of like a headlock, but
Yeah.
like you can like kind of connect it around your neck, so it holds your neck in place, so
Cool.
you can actually like
I like that.
yeah, I know. I was like, I was tempted to get one. Yeah, so that was cool. And then this last one was this huge blanket thing. Literally, it looked like a poncho basically that you could zip all the way up. So
Huh.
literally, your face was like in this blanket,
yeah,
which
yeah.
to me is suffocating. But you can also like unzip it, and just, you're kind of like in your little cocoon,
Yeah.
essentially. And I was like, I don't know how
There's
essential
a
that
nice
is, but
controllable space in here.
yeah, literally, you should have seen it. She was just like
Yeah.
chilling. So those four I thought were interesting, and then the rest of the article, I'll just run through these. This one we've talked about on the podcast before. Take control of the armrest. It's
It's early. You got to get in there early,
had
and
this
you
debate.
got to plant your flag.
You gotta put it down.
That's me.
Get your hand on there. Yeah.
You let them know
I know.
you're not coming for my armrest.
This says that we've literally what episode was that where we had this debate? It was one of our first ones.
I sit on a plane with like my arms folded.
Yeah,
a lot,
you do.
though, too.
You
I just,
really kind of
sit
like don't.
that. I don't necessarily need the armrest.
No, I don't take up the armrest. I'm very like I can just take the back of it kind of, but like to share one with someone, it's just. But yeah, it says the middle seat armrest conundrum is an unfavorable one in my eyes and many others. I swear it's not just me. The middle seat passenger gets both armrests. The unspoken rule of when flying in coach. So this I'm trying to. I don't remember exactly who it was in this article. I encourage you to claim your unofficial right as a middle seat passenger and make it clear as politely as you can that your armrests aren't for sharing. I love that.
I hate
I'm
when
kinda
you're
here for
sitting
that.
next to people and like your like legs or knees are touching. That's so
Literally, we're having like a round two of the same episode we already talked about. This.
Such a cringe where you're just like touching legs. I'm like, don't touch my
As
leg.
a smaller person,
Mhm.
nothing annoys me more. And I'm not like super petite. I'm petite in that I'm not tall. I guess just in general. But
We're
like
very
especially,
airplane sized people.
Yeah, we really are.
We really are.
You are too, sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But
I met a guy yesterday. He was at least 7 feet tall.
That's tough. I don't blame people for their height. What are you gonna do? Your legs have to go somewhere.
His life must be just
but like
so challenging, and everything he does, the car he drives, his bed, getting on a plane.
That's interesting.
Clothes.
It's like you complain about being
shoes.
short, but then.
Well, I mean, being in the middle would be nice.
Yeah.
Just having like a nice
Just
average.
another couple inches.
Just average is cool. I mean, I guess I am average
You are
technically,
average.
but I would rather be
Maybe slightly
above average. Not 7 feet. That would be fucking terrible.
You're like, I would take 5'11" or 6 feet.
You, like hit your head on doors.
Yeah, that's on an airplane. That would be incredibly uncomfortable. Which I feel like
standing
I've
up too
heard
fast.
people on like social media, they're like, yeah, if they're like a guy, if they've women too, who have longer legs, might pay for a little extra legroom or whatever.
Yeah, you have to get
But
all your clothes
that is
custom
what I've
made.
realized a lot, especially as a woman. Like, men just get in our freaking bubble. I don't know what it is. Like, not all of
Imagine
them,
a
not all of them,
7 foot
but
tall person like sitting on a toilet. Like
we're going so up.
that would be so strange to me because they'd be like damn near sitting on the ground to them because they're
That would, yeah, I
so
don't know how you have
tall.
to. Well,
You'd
think
have to
about
have
just
a
getting in and
high.
out of airplane bathrooms.
No, yeah, you can't. There's no way that guy could get in an airplane bathroom.
Well, you have to. You gotta go. You gotta go.
He's gonna hold it. Like I don't know how
Well,
he can't
you
fit
can
in there.
stand and
Oh, I would love to
kneel
be
down,
watching that just to see how it happens.
depending on when she has to go.
Oh man, there's
Oh
no way
my
he would
God.
fit if he sat. No way.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We're
little off topic
digressing.
there,
But anyway, armrests.
I see.
I definitely feel like middle should have some seniority there.
Eh.
Another one. So this was interesting, but I guess I'll kind of say these two together. Store everything in the overhead compartment. This says, you might be tempted to put your carry-on in front of you, which for sure, but
Not a carry-on. Like your personal item.
personal items, I guess. Maybe. Yeah, I guess.
But
yeah.
what
Does
if
this
you have
say
your personal
store
item
everything
full of shit? Like you got chips and you got your
No, I know.
your water.
Well, then, so
and you
this
got
thing
your...
said, I think it has to do with having to bend down around
Yeah, sure.
people. That's why I love the window in terms of looking out. And if I'm next to you in the middle, then it's better. But I am a aisle seat girl for this reason. I want to be able to
if you have to pee, you just like getting up and going.
Yeah.
Like you hate bothering people.
I do. I really don't like bothering
Which is
people.
fine.
I know.
I hate
And
getting
depending
bothered.
on and I don't put my feet out in the aisle, but you can sometimes get like you can stretch your legs.
Even on just like a short flight, like we're going to Hawaii, even for like
Yeah.
just like a 4.5, 5 hour flight, you're just like, I mean,
yeah,
it's so short.
5 hours is a long time for me to sit. I am not a sitter. If I can avoid it, I know. But anyway, so yeah, I think this thing is just saying like keep as much on you as you can because the next one is wear a fanny pack. Have like a little.
My dad was a fiend for fanny packs.
So,
when I was
as
a
were
kid,
many in the 90s.
we would go to like baseball games. Man, he rocked a black leather fanny. I thought it was normal at the time.
It was normal for the 90s.
Looking back, it didn't seem normal.
It didn't seem normal.
I remember him wearing the fanny.
At least it was black. At least it was subtle.
And he wore it like
it could have been neon.
He had no swag about it too. It was just like straight up and down, right down the middle of him. Right, it wasn't on the back.
Not even a little.
It wasn't on like a little. Yeah, it wasn't like off kilter on the side behind. It was just straight up and down. I was like,
give him a little
just a dork.
Again, at least it was subdued. At least it wasn't like a bright orange.
It's true.
Or like.
It's true.
I
can picture that fanny pack still.
Nightmares about it.
So fun.
Yeah. So I think this whole
like his damn cell phone clip.
Quote fanny pack thing. It's like we went on a walk this morning. It's like what I was wearing. It's like the cute little like sling thing. A lot of girls are like wearing this.
Yeah, crossbody thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cute crossbody situation. That I agree, especially as a mom now. Just like anything quick, like chapstick, whatever, those quick like go-to things is headphones, all that kind of stuff. So next couple here, bring extra padding and layers. I 100% do this. Honestly, that usually becomes my pillow to some degree, which is also why I also like the window because then you have something to lean up against. But the aisle, you don't.
It's true.
It's real. I know. I go back and forth. So
that's why I fly private.
Okay.
I wish.
I know. Me too. Oh God, at least first class. Don't even get to
I don't even need first. I just want like
business. I'll take anything.
Economy plus.
I know. One of these days. I think the most tragic. Well, no, I was going to say the most tragic thing, and that was going to be a very bougie and obnoxious thing to just say. When we went to Hawaii a couple years ago on our sort of unofficial baby moon. We went to Kauai. We were supposed to be going to Maui, which is where we'll be going soon.
2 days before the flight
was the fires.
The fires,
which was very, very, very sad. Sad to. It's going to be
sad for
a
them.
bummer seeing.
It was okay.
We
went somewhere else, but sad for them.
We rallied. I know that's where I was. I had to stop myself and be like, "Wow, you sound obnoxious right now." Where I was going with that was like the one flight that we were going to be in first class. I don't even know how we swung it. I think points.
I don't
Yeah,
remember, but yeah, I was so pumped for
it was
it.
a
I
little.
was gonna
It was a
drink
bummer.
champagne the entire way, but
I
fate had
wasn't
other
because I was pregnant.
plans.
I know, but
One day.
perspective. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, bringing extra padding and layers. Also, planes get cold, planes get hot, whatever. And then neck pillow. I just mentioned one. There's another one that this article linked. The SoJoy Eye Gel Comfort 3-in-1. This is not an ad. This is just what the article said. So check that one out. Pack an eye mask. Sure. Noise canceling
Mm.
headphones. Bring your own entertainment, which like everyone does anyway.
All planes have like great entertainment
And
anyway.
we're
Now.
getting better for sure. But yeah, just bringing your phone. Drinking water, not being afraid to get up to go to the bathroom. Yep. Pack snacks. And remember, it is only temporary.
That's true. Gonna
Which,
get off eventually.
good mindset, I guess, to
You're
have.
gonna get where you're going.
Yeah, but damn, being in the middle. We weren't necessarily stuck in the middle. We were on an aisle in a middle in a group of 4 on a long haul flight. But what was the tragic mistake that I will own that I made? Do you remember of the seats that I chose? I think it was when we were going to Italy for our wedding trip.
Oh yeah, it was
We're coming back.
behind us was the
It was
bulkhead.
in front of a bathroom, so we could not recline our seats.
Yeah, our seats didn't recline.
I've
yeah.
never made such a poor
That was terrible.
seat decision. I guess I thought they would still go back. I was in disbelief.
Yeah, that was horrendous.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad mistake. I
Absolutely.
can't even remember if that was like an overnight or if that was a hat. I mean, most flights from California to Europe
No,
are.
yeah,
so
that
it had
was
to have
our
been.
flight from
Oh,
Italy
so
to here
Oh my god.
with no recline,
Sorry.
sitting at an acute angle for 13 hours.
It might have reclined like a little, but it
Mine
was
didn't
not.
budge.
I mean, it was
I almost
so
broke
bad.
mine, I think.
Trying to get it to go back
Uh-huh.
even just a little. Do we even have
I
buttons?
think I heard
don't even
plastic
remember.
cracking.
Someone's in the bathroom like,
Yeah,
this guy
it was
doing?
fucking- yeah.
oh my god. Anyway, all right. Those were the flight ones that I have. I have one more, but let's do yours and then we'll see if we have
Mine's
time to
pretty
find
quick.
otherwise
It's just
cool.
going to be kind of an interesting anecdote.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So, are you familiar with what's called en premier?
No.
So, yeah, you are.
Okay.
I'm sure you do. You just maybe not know the name of it. But in Europe, in Bordeaux, every year, they do what's called en premier, which is when all the wineries sample their newest vintage
Ooh.
for people to purchase it.
I want to go.
You don't buy enough wine.
I'm going to let you finish.
You don't
but...
buy enough wine.
Oh.
So this is where people taste wine to buy futures.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
Interesting.
en premier, right? So
name makes sense now.
So yeah, so wine collectors, restaurant chains like like Ritz Carlton, Marriott,
okay.
like they'll go
Okay.
and like they'll sample wines and like put in orders for like we want this much wine from this vintage.
Question.
What?
How do I get the job to be the person that goes and samples the wines?
You have to be a very, very qualified person, I'd imagine.
So you're really qualified.
I don't think
can
you
get
don't.
That job?
You don't have like you can just. I think you can go.
Oh, really?
Like it's not like.
It's not like super exclusive to the point.
No,
that it's like,
you could probably go like people that import wine and people that wine shop K&L, Kermit Lynch, like they'll go to those and they'll taste wine and like be like I want X amount of it. But the thing is, you're buying it like years before you're gonna have it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But it's cheaper.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you're gonna pay probably like 30% less.
Wow. So you're really having to taste the like future potential of this wine.
That's
basically.
right. That's the hard part about it is you're tasting wine that's not done yet.
Babies.
It's like looking at a painting that's barely started, and you're like
having to envision.
You're like, I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Ooh. No pressure.
So what's happening is they just had en premiere this year, and 2024 vintage is not good.
In France, specifically, why?
It was
just how the weather was.
Yeah, it was like a cold, wet.
Oh, we're in 2025 now, so last year. Oh, okay,
It was a cold, wet harvest and just year overall. So the wines aren't seen as like a
like it's not like a amazing
desirable vintage.
Okay, interesting.
So Chateau Lafite,
Yeah.
arguably
Little known winery.
yeah, one of if not the most famous wineries in the world in history.
Yeah.
Their wine, their number one wine, basically, Chateau Lafite, is the lowest price it's been in 10 years.
What is it?
In euros, it said 280 euros.
Which is what they would buy it at this like futures price, or that is like what it would be.
I think this was
Like,
I think
does that
this
make
was
sense?
at the futures price,
Okay.
but even then,
So like theoretically it would be more, but then
yeah,
okay.
280. I don't imagine it going up very much because it's not a
Wow.
desirable vintage, but like 280, and then there's another one, Chateau Angelus, which is 180.
Uh-huh.
But Chateau Lafite is down. It's at its 10-year low, which, to put this in
Wow.
perspective,
Uh-huh.
like 280 euro. Let's call it $300 just to make
Sure.
it easier for people in the United States. So like a bottle of Chateau Lafite for $300 is like a very good deal. Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that's. I mean,
That's insane.
there's so many wines around here.
I'd have half money to buy that.
There's so many wines around here that are way over $300.
Yeah.
And so for Chateau Lafite to be $300, it's like, oh,
Wait, that's kind of crazy.
yeah. And I mean, in a good
Kinda
vintage,
sad.
I mean, they're $900 a bottle.
Yeah.
Like,
What are some
up
like
from there.
memorable, like some legendary vintages of Lafite? Do you remember?
05 was like a great vintage.
Like just growing condition wise,
Yeah.
like it just.
Yeah.
Kiss.
05 was really good. I remember. You know what's funny is my birth year, 1990, was like just epic everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, epic. Champagne was like 1990. Champagne is like one of the best vintages.
Oh, do you have any like birth year bottles? Have you
Oh
bought any?
God, no.
Oh,
I
really?
can't afford those.
Really?
They're so expensive because they're so
they're so
good.
good. Oh
Yeah.
man.
So it leads me to like, bottle variation in France. So like, or vintage variation. Like a good year there or a bad year there is terrible. Where a bad year here is like, man, it wasn't that bad. Because our weather is so much more like static
like
and like
I was gonna say chill.
yeah,
very
it's
California,
just
isn't it?
it's just like much more like predictable.
If it's like bad, it's not like horrifically bad. Because France, depending where you are, right, you can get snowstorms. I mean, there's
Hail.
the hail.
Yeah,
like
frost.
Here, we
Like, if
did
we have
actually
a-
get hail
Mhm.
not super long ago.
If we get like a bad year for us, France would be like, oh, we'll take that every day. So
Interesting.
But the other thing is too, the sales of those Bordeaux wines are a lot lower now too because younger collectors aren't collecting those. The younger Silicon Valley bros are like, I want Screaming Eagle and like Harlan and like all that. They're like, I don't want my grandpa's French wine. Yeah. So the sales of them are lower too.
That's sacrilege. That's horrible.
Yeah, because
I'm still. I can't even like. I
all
don't know
the
if I can,
all
like,
the bros
say
that
this
wear like
without-
Lululemon to their office and like athleisure, like I just want every bottle of Screaming Eagle.
It's so funny because where Screaming Eagle is around other wineries that it's like the same area and they charge so much less and it's like
They do it in France too.
not even that crazy. That's the crazy thing to me about wine. These vineyards quite literally can be next to each other.
Yeah, they're touching.
Yet charge wildly different prices. It's like one of the biggest issues I have with like wine pricing, the marketing behind, and I am a marketer, so I get it. It's like, wow.
Mhm.
Well, that first of all, that makes me really sad. But also that's interesting.
And also, I read a really interesting thing about French wineries. So, really, really big, rich, powerful wineries in Bordeaux for the most part. If it's like a cloudy day and it's like not nice outside, I've read that they can shoot like rockets into the sky and blow the clouds away.
What?
Yeah. So then the sunshine comes through.
That's insane. That reminds me of what's the movie we just watched, The Twister.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were like basically going into like the eye of the storm and
Yeah.
like shooting stuff up into it to get it to go away.
Yeah.
That's
They'll like
crazy.
blow a rocket up and blow the clouds
What?
up.
Does it work? Is that effective?
Maybe.
Sounds like expensive way to like get
Yeah, it's probably expensive.
Oh my god, way to manipulate the weather. Well, try and manipulate the weather.
Yeah.
That's some interesting tactics.
Mhm.
Interesting. The gods are going to be like, oh, you think so, huh? Wow. How do you think, quick sidebar question, how's 2025 vintage going to be so far, do you think?
Here is
Yeah.
fine. Like so far, so
So far, I
good.
feel like it's not like
Yeah, it's
super
really
bad.
early
We
to
we did
tell,
get
but
quite
like,
a bit of rain.
yeah, I think that's okay though. It's
Yeah,
really
no,
early
I'm
to
not saying
tell
that in a
right
bad
now,
way.
but so far so good
Yeah,
from what I can see.
because this is May, early May that
Yep.
we're early to mid May. We're talking about
Yep.
this.
So
Interesting.
far so good.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting one. The very last thing I was going to talk about, and I was kind of just excited about this, just to kind of touch on. Wow, we're getting everything. We're getting travel, drink, and this last little food one. Um, this actually I wanted to share just because I love the people that were interviewed in this piece. So this is from Food and Wine. The best Italian products to buy at Whole Foods and the
Oh,
ones you should skip.
oh, fun.
That I was like, tell me more.
Yeah.
Guess you're probably not gonna guess, but I'm gonna throw this out there. Guess who they interviewed for this? I will give you a hint.
Stanley Tucci.
No, they're on social media,
Oh.
and I've shown you their content here and there before.
Is it a famous person?
It's not like a celebrity per se. They have quite a following now,
Is
but
it that Sicilian woman?
no, it's a Sicilian guy, Carlo and Sarah.
Oh,
That
the
couple
couple,
that I
and he's like,
love.
"My love."
Yes.
That guy. Oh, funny.
And I love them. And yeah, so they literally like we consulted two of our favorite content creators, Italian American couple, Carlo Bruno Lungo and Sarah Malika. Malika.
God, what
I
an
think let's go with
Italian
that.
name, Carlo Bruno Lungo.
I know,
Jesus
and
Christ.
I love them both
Fucking
so
A.
much. I literally shout out to you guys if you're seeing this at all. And
Big
yeah,
fan.
huge fan. They're hilarious. Their content's great, and they really do. I mean, they show a lot of like Italian versus American stuff, and their sense of humor is so great. But basically, this article says the two documents everything about their experience as an Italian and American living together. So they they're married now. They now live in the United States. But you know, he's obviously very Sicilian and very, very proudly so.
Mm-hmm.
So, according to him, some things to look out for and to buy are so in terms of tomato sauces, muti and pomi, I think it might be because the I is like I'm
I think
backwards.
I buy Muti.
Yeah. So it says both Muti and Pomi are, if I'm pronouncing that right, are Italian companies that make their products with 100% Italian grown tomatoes. So what's interesting is Sarah said that Carlo doesn't opt for a jarred sauce with seasonings in it. He basically just gets the tomato base.
Yeah.
And then
Adds
she was like,
spice
our
too.
cabinet is stocked with,
Yeah.
you know, with seasonings and stuff. So that's really interesting. We
Mhm.
don't normally do that.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yes.
How Italian of you.
Yeah. I buy.
You know how I don't know that? Because you can tell
never,
I don't.
You never cook. Yeah, I buy just
I
tomato
totally thought we had that.
sauce, tomato paste,
And then you
and I add herbs to it.
Sweetie.
God.
You're so great. Good for you.
You're like, oh, this pasta's pretty good. I'm like, yeah, fucking I know.
You're like, I worked hard on this.
God, I want pasta tonight.
Oh my god. Yeah, well, we could. Yeah, he's basically, and this is no surprise. He says for Carlo, the best tomato sauce comes down to simplicity. If there's too many ingredients, don't do it. It should just be, you know, the tomato and just very simple stuff you can pronounce.
Mm-hmm.
You know. All right, next one. This I thought was interesting. This is very much like, what was it? It escaped me. It might come back to me as I'm talking. So Parmigiano Reggiano.
Mm-hmm.
So, as Sarah points out, Whole Foods has good Parmesan cheeses too, like in the wheels or
But
the carts that they
get the block, not the already grated stuff.
No. So here's kind of yes, but basically here's a good call out. So she said, but she doesn't mean like just any Parmesan when she's talking here, right? So specifically Parmigiano Reggiano. So the cheese must be produced in one of the select few regions in Italy and must meet specific regulatory qualifications, so including being aged for a minimum of a year.
Sure.
To be named Parmigiano Reggiano.
Yeah. So
Carlo mentioned that you actually don't need to look for the DOP label, which is the designation to indicate that the food was made in that certain area. Instead, if it's labeled Parmigiano Reggiano, then that's what it is. but legally you can't write that if it comes from, i.e., Wisconsin,
Right.
because Parmigiano
Protected
Reggiano is a type of
yeah.
cheese that's made only in that particular region. What am I trying to think of? Oh, maybe is it that tomato sauce? No,
You're
that's not
thinking of the
it.
tomatoes,
Yeah.
the famous tomatoes, the San Marzano?
Yes, but I wasn't. But nobody would put San Marzano on there if they weren't. It's what
Yeah,
am
they
I
would.
thinking of?
You can grow San
Oh, maybe
Marzanos
not in
tomatoes.
there. Not in
Yeah,
San Marzano.
You can grow San Marzano tomatoes, but
But it's not from the actual.
mm-hmm.
That wasn't what I was thinking of though. It might come to me, but other way. There was another like product, or maybe it's even a. Oh no, I think it's wine. I might be thinking of champagne and
Yeah,
sparkling wine.
that's my first thing I was thinking about. I was like, yeah, it's like champagne's only from Champagne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like there was something else, but I think that's
Napa
where my mind
Cabernet
was
is
going.
from Napa Valley.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
totally.
But champagne and sparkling wine, that is super mixed up all the time.
Oh yeah, sure.
So often people call it champagne, and I'm like, it has to
Like,
be from
that's
Champagne.
Prosecco.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not a thing. Okay, so I think that's what I was thinking of.
Cool.
Last couple things here. So in terms of things you should skip, you're gonna know this one, but I think this is like a good one. Olive oil without a singular origin.
Yeah.
So
It
he
just says
says
Mediterranean olive oil.
which we've gotten before.
It's just cooking olive oil.
I have gotten it, yeah. But he basically is like, if it's Greek olive oil, I'll buy it. If it's Spanish, I'll buy it. But if it's a mix of olive oils, he's like, that doesn't sound right to me. Each has their own flavor, taste, profiles, whatever, their own terroir. So basically making sure you do single origin olive oils only. Also, if it states it was packed in a certain country, that doesn't necessarily mean the ingredients are all sourced from there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing to keep out for. So look for an explicitly stated source. So for example, California Olive Ranch says 100% California and California grown beneath the nutritional label. So if you can't find one, Google it or choose another bottle or whatever, because it's not like as clean as it could be. And then the last one, again, this is like such a classic Italian example, but deli meats. I think a lot of people are kind of like not quite sure on this one. So they basically were saying like, this one might take a little bit of practice, but the color really is what you're looking for. So again, I think that this is one that you know for sure, but like prosciutto, for example, if it's gray, that ain't right. Yeah, which also just sounds gross in general. So yeah, it really just takes like practice and kind of just like getting used to and knowing what color it should be, like what it should be looking like.
Yeah.
The other one I thought that was interesting. I don't know. Well, you probably know this because you know things, but the spicy salami, specifically, if it's too white, then it's not the right color. So that's interesting. That was one that I didn't necessarily know to look out for. So yeah, basically just doing a little research before looking that up, or before buying rather, and you'll eventually just kind of know by sight what to get. Yeah. Cool. Also, sidebar. This is not like an official topic. I was just going to mention. Whole Foods randomly is starting a podcast. I know. I think they already kind of like. There was like a couple. So I think it's releasing. Oh, May 1st. So yeah. So it just came out. It's called Beyond the Board. And it'll provide listeners insight to every aspect of how food moves from producers to brands to grocery store shelves and our tables.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. As fellow foodies, I can appreciate that. What's funny is they're also going to have like, I think not even just celebrities, but also just like, there's like a grocery centric. Oh no, it is a grocery centric series. With like influential guests and founders of food brands and things like that. So random. But the first guest that they're going to have on is, well, I guess he might have taken his wife's name, but Brooklyn Beckham, David Beckham and Victoria Beckham's son. He's married now to what's her, is it Nicola Peltz? What's her name? Whatever. I don't know. I can't remember her first name.
He's married to.
But anyway, Brooklyn Peltz Beckham is I guess what it is now. So he is 25 years old. He created his own hot sauce brand.
Cool.
Go figure that out. We should look out for that.
I want to make
Cloud 23. Yeah, apparently they were
Cloud 23.
Cloud 23.
Oh,
yeah.
weird.
Apparently him and his wife were just like talking. She was like, "You should make one." So he did.
Do whatever you want.
What it must be like to, I know. Last name Beckham's gonna help you out in life. But yeah, it's kind of cool. So yeah, they're gonna be like, he's gonna sit down with the CEO and talk about like how he developed that, and so yeah, I think they're just gonna feature like a lot of founders and just like a lot of the random things about that. So I'll have to listen and see what that's all about. But
Cool.
love us some Whole Foods because we're there all the time. But I know it's not in
We're like
every part of the
family.
country.
When you
so
hear, you're like
depending on-
family.
That's
It's Olive Garden.
completely wrong.
That's Olive Garden.
That's the faux Italian that we don't speak of.
Bottomless breadsticks.
Yeah.
I can honestly say I have not been to an Olive Garden since I was maybe 10 years old.
Yeah. It was high school for me.
10 years
I was
old.
visiting family in Florida who love Olive Garden.
Hey. So I haven't been to an Olive Garden in like 25 years.
Yeah. As you shouldn't probably. You heard about the people that took their engagement photos at an Olive Garden?
And pretend they were in Italy?
Yes.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
and Olive
They
Garden
probably
like
look
saw
hella
it
good.
and got them a trip
Oh,
to Olive Garden to Italy
that's funny.
for their honeymoon.
It probably looked
Yep.
so good.
It looked so good.
Yeah.
It literally looked like Italy.
That's really
so funny.
really
I don't know if you
funny.
heard about that, but yeah, that's not new news. That happened a while ago, but
Huh.
I thought that was so funny. The
People are crafty.
beautiful pictures. Yep. I know. Anyway, all right.
Fun one.
I think that's all we had today. Yeah, we covered a lot of bases. So thank you guys for tuning in as always. DMs, email, and everything is open. We love to hear from you guys. Let us know your thoughts on any of the topics we talked about today. But otherwise, we will see you in the next episode.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us and tuning into the Taste Toast Travel Podcast. We really appreciate you being here and hope you're enjoying these honest conversations about all things sipping, savoring, and seeing the world. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, we would truly appreciate a rating or review on whatever platform you're tuning in on so fellow foodies, Epicureans, and travel enthusiasts can enjoy this content too. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a follow at Taste Toast Travel. We'll see you in the next episode.